Listen, if there is one thing that Gachiakuta does right this chapter, it is absolutely building the horror and tension behind Maimo's new transformation. Even from last chapter, it was made readily apparent that quote-unquote something inhuman wasn't just some kind of monstrous being, especially with the dictator, the ruler of the world that Maimo viewed himself as. By turning himself into something that was inhuman, he essentially ascended into a godlike being. At least that's what is very apparent, because there's very little dialogue in this chapter. However, the feeling and emotion that almost every single character that isn't Maimo is feeling is on full display from page 1 all the way to the end of the chapter, because even from the very beginning, when we get that first full look at what Maimo looks like now, and everyone is just kind of speechless with their eyes looking around, like, everyone's like, is this actually happening? What's going on? And of course, Mildreda, the one that actually originally sniped Maimo in the first place and thought she originally destroyed the microphone, is the first person to act, because she realizes that this might all be on her, because she thought the microphone was destroyed when this is just not the case. And as she goes to pick up her slack and shoot a couple of bullets at Maimo's head, she is one of the first people to realize, along with everybody else, that those bullets are just ricocheting off of him and doing absolutely nothing. And when I tell you, again, the horror and scariness of this chapter, as you see Maimo slowly begin to approach Mildreda as she keeps firing more and more and more rounds, and it does absolutely nothing to stop him in his path, to where Engine feels the need to jump in front of her, pop out his umbrella to block, and even that is just barely able to mitigate the damage, because they get sent with a shockwave far out of the Doll Festival arena that they're in right now, and they are both out for the count right now. It is almost guaranteed that this is probably one of the strongest beings that we have ever encountered in all of Gachiakuta. Even the Hellguard understands that we need to destroy whatever Maimo has become now, or the entire world as we know it is just gone. Maimo trying to rule the world with his control over the chokers and with these few subordinates that were actually willing to give their lives for him, Maimo definitely had a pretty good shot. His plan to take control of the Doll Festival, if it had actually succeeded, probably would have given him the amount of control that he wanted. But now that he's turned himself into this angelic entity, this eldritch horror, he doesn't need any of that anymore. You can even see the look on Felix and the Batgirl's face, I still don't know her name, I'm sorry, as they're looking around and seeing what Maimo has become. They are in disbelief at what they're looking at. And even though the Hellguard is smart enough to realize that they need to kill Maimo right now before he gets out of the arena and begins to further his rule, the Hellguard, try as they might, they fire all of their rounds, all of their firepower at Maimo at once, and absolutely nothing is done. And this is what I mean when I say that Kei Arana is absolutely cooking with these panels, and you know she knows exactly what she is doing. With this bottom panel page of Maimo just slowly floating, making no noise, he hasn't said a single word, all he's done is just make subtle sounds from his movements, and he gets like that little metallic clank and when he's like fixing his neck and getting into shape. And what's even worse is Maimo still retains all of his evil, all of his just doing dickhead things for no reason, because not only of course does Maimo go right for Mildreda, but instead of going for the Hellguard that are currently attacking him, he moves right past all of the Hellguard while maintaining eye contact with the current troop leader of the Hellguard, which we know is Zanka's brother, which just shows the level of pettiness that Maimo has in his system, even though he has become this inhuman being, right? Because making full eye contact with Zanka's brother, he moves right past all of the Hellguard, gets put right in front of Zanka himself, and unfortunately, the Hellguard is not able to react in time. Even if they were, it's very unlikely they would have been able to do anything. Poor Zanka, of all characters, throws his stick into Maimo's way. Maimo blocks it, and then with a small little flick, hits that flick and just erupts a torrent of blood out from the back of Zanka's fucking torso. Poof. I don't know if I was ready for that. Is this actually going to be the death of Zanka? I mean, for a arc that has been set up with all of his family members surrounding him, that would definitely be one of the saddest moments for him to go through. Although I doubt it. I think Zanka is way too critical of a character and has way more to offer to the story. Bro literally just got back from his glow up arc where he realized he was too weak after getting beat by Jabber. He needs to have his comeback mode on Jabber. I cannot let Zonka die this early. I need to see my boy have his comeuppance.
This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel.
Honestly, with how quick the chapter goes out, it's unclear what is going to happen, who else is going to be on the chopping block, and how we're even going to begin to stand a chance against Maimo as he is now. If he's able to withstand torrents of bullets everywhere, in my opinion, the only one that has a chance at stopping Maimo now is Rudo. Because not only does Rudo have all of Gauntess's will, his want for revenge, and all of his desires, you know, boosted within him to give him that enthusiasm, Rudo might be the only one whose giver powers are enough to even rival what Maimo has become. If Engine using his umbrella to block an attack wasn't enough to even survive, I don't know if there's anybody else here in this group that's going to be able to take on Maimo. If the Hellguard can't do anything, and the only cleaners we have left are Ryo and Rudo, and maybe Felix and Batgirl will probably begin to, you know, realize that they have joined the wrong side. They're on the wrong side of history, and they may need to join us and help. It is utterly insane to me how crazy of a roller coaster this battle against Maimo has been. It has been such a back and forth, to be completely honest with you, going from Maimo having full control to the cleaners getting one over and being able to best Maimo's subordinates, Maimo being left and defenseless, and then Maimo using his last resort card, which was abusing Gauntess and putting Two Lily's life on the line in order to get one over on Gauntess and fulfill his dream of ruling everything. And then that gets put aside, and now we have a future that no one in this arc really saw coming. This isn't something that the Hellguard thought they'd be dealing with. This isn't something that Rudo or even Maimo thought that they would be doing in this moment. It just shows to me that not only is Gachiakuta a very unpredictable story, but it is a very fun story to continue reading and going down all those twists and turns. Because a couple chapters ago, I was like, dang, Maimo got taken out pretty easily. This arc must be over. To now, oh my god, Zonka might be dead and Maimo is unstoppable and he's the strongest character that we have seen in the entire series up until this point. If you would have told me that this is how all of this would have Uno reversed, I would not have believed you, if I'm being completely honest. I am more than happy to continue this story, especially with how hype things have gotten with Maimo's transformation. Let me know down below what you guys are all thinking in regards to the comments. Who do you think is going to be able to stand against Maimo as he is now? Can Rudo do it? Is someone going to have to jump in and help us? Maybe a new character that has been watching the entire time? Or perhaps the leader of the cleaners? That would be kind of crazy. That'd be a big reveal, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.